Llega Vinicius en el mano a mano, Vinicius. ¡Qué golazo acaba de marcar
Vinicius! Desdobla Bellingham, el disparo. ¡Golazo!
Vinicius Junior is one of the top 2 footballers in the world, and I'll let you in on a secret. He's not number 2. Often being at fault of lacking end product in the early part of his Real Madrid career, he was even accused of playing for the other team by his striker Karim Benzema. So, how did Vinicius Junior turn this around to go from hype Brazilian prospect to potential flop to then becoming the best player in the world? Sit back and enjoy as we look at the rise, fall, and rise again of Vinicius Junior. But before we jump into it, please like and subscribe to help us on our journey to 100K subscribers. Done now? Thank you. Let's get into it. The rise. Vinicius grew up in São Gonçalo, where he had a happy and stable childhood. At the age of 6, he got his football start at a local football school, which was affiliated with Flamengo, one of Brazil's biggest clubs. Vinicius immediately stood out for his dribbling ability and speed, his first coach told The Athletic. At age 10, Vinicius joined Flamengo's youth system. Carlos Noval, the executive director of the Flamengo youth team, described him as unpredictable, fearless, and mentally strong, which, when we look back now, was absolutely spot on. A young Vinicius was head and shoulders above his peers and was talked about as one jewel of Flamengo's youth setup. In 2017, at Brazil's most prestigious youth tournament, the Copinha, he made waves. Scoring twice off the bench against Central, he then set up 2 against National, and then scored the winner against Cruzeiro. He did all this while being 3 years younger than most of his fellow players. After stealing the show at the Copinha, Vinicius carried his red-hot form to the Under-17 South American Championship with Brazil. There scored another 7 goals and came back with a winner's medal. His growing reputation earned him the label of the new Neymar by Spanish press and had Real Madrid on alert as they did not want to miss out on a Neymar-like transfer again. The Spanish club eventually agreed to a deal with Flamengo when Vinicius was 16 for 45 million euros, in which he would move to Madrid after he was 18 due to La Liga's rule of 18 being the minimum age for international transfers. That left Vinicius with 2 more seasons at Flamengo, and he made the most of them. In his first season with the first team, Vinicius scored 4 goals in 32 appearances, of which only 4 were starts. His first professional goal came in the Copa Sudamericana, and first league goal came in the 2-0 win over Atlético Goianiense. In his second season, Vinicius' confidence had grown, becoming Flamengo's most important player, and had the director of the first team begging him to stay and help them win the league. But for Vinicius, he knew it was time to make the next step, and he told him that he must go. Noval held no grudges and said, "Even when he was tiny, I was certain that he would become one of the best players in the world." And with that, he was off to the biggest club in the world. The fall. A part of Real Madrid's new strategy of identifying and signing the best young talent, Vinicius wasted no time in making a first impression with the Castilla first team. He scored 2 goals against Atletico Madrid B in early September 2018, getting his first taste of the Madrid derby, impressing his then-coach Santiago Solari. With a first impression like that and a need for goals following the departure of Cristiano Ronaldo, there was immediate pressure from the local press to throw Vinicius into the Real Madrid first team. But to ensure the best development process, he mostly played with his own age group, only getting 12 minutes over 2 La Liga games under Julian Lopetegui. This gave him the time to learn the Spanish game and understand the weight of the Real Madrid jersey. But following a 5-1 Clásico loss to Barcelona, Lopetegui was sacked, and Santiago Solari was promoted to the first team, and he brought Vinicius with him. By January 2019, he had become a regular starter and scored 2 goals with 6 assists. But this bright start was halted following an ankle injury sustained against Ajax in the Champions League. Following their Champions League elimination, Real Madrid fired Solari, and Zinedine Zidane returned to take charge. Life under Zidane turned out to be tough for Vinicius, who now had to compete with Eden Hazard, a signing Zidane pushed hard for in the summer. This led to the Brazilian often having to settle for a place on the bench or right wing to accommodate the Belgian, leading him to only complete 90 minutes 7 times, scoring 5 goals and getting 4 assists across all competitions. The next season, it hit rock bottom for Vinicius Junior when he got accused of playing for the other team. In a Champions League away tie, Borussia Mönchengladbach cameras caught star striker Karim Benzema saying to Ferland Mendy, "Don't pass to him, brother. On my mother's life, he is playing against us." Following that conversation, Benzema did not pass him the ball once, and Mendy only passed 3 times until Vinicius was hooked in favor of Hazard 25 minutes into the second half. After Madrid's first trophyless season since the 2009-2010 season, Zidane stepped down and Carlo Ancelotti was named head coach, which ended up being exactly what Vinicius needed to tap into his immense potential. If you made it this far into the video, comment on who you think is the best in the world right now. Back to the vid. The rise again. The season began with Carlo Ancelotti starting Gareth Bale and Eden Hazard as his preferred wingers, but that didn't last long because of determined Vinicius Junior. Given 25 minutes off the bench for the league opener against Alaves, Vinicius scored and had an impressive showing. The following week, he scored 2 goals in 30 minutes off the bench in a 3-3 draw against Levante. He was quickly changing Ancelotti's mind and earned the starting spot with 5 goals in his first 5 La Liga appearances, more than his total from the season prior. With his impact and confidence growing throughout the season, Carlo adjusted his tactics to create more space for Vinicius. Madrid would sit back deeper to allow him more space to operate in on the counter. He was now looking like one of the best wingers in the world. Against Shakhtar Donetsk in the Champions League, he had 2 goals and 1 assist in the 5-0 thrashing of the Ukrainian side. A month later against Sevilla, an ultra-confident Vinicius received the ball on his chest, evaded a couple of challenges, and rifled the ball into the top corner. You might be wondering how his relationship with Karim Benzema was doing. It was thriving. Against PSG in a second-leg comeback, he assisted Benzema, then did it again in both legs of the quarterfinals against Chelsea. During the semifinals against Manchester City, Vinicius decided he doesn't need teammates when he embarrassed his fellow countryman Fernandinho and went all the way for a solo goal. In the finals against Liverpool, he proved to be the decisive factor by gambling on a back-post cross from Dani Carvajal to tap into the only goal of the game and give Real Madrid their 14th Champions League trophy. Real Madrid also won La Liga, where Vinicius finished with 17 goals and 10 assists. The 2022-2023 season didn't come with the same success as the past season for Vinicius and Real Madrid, even though they won the Club World Cup and UEFA Super Cup. They lost out La Liga to bitter rivals Barcelona, led by Xavi, while also getting dumped out of the Champions League by eventual winners Manchester City. With the disappointment of that season, the departure captain Karim Benzema, and now the legendary number 7 given to him, a new level to Vinicius Junior was unlocked. The 2023-2024 La Liga title was handedly won by Real Madrid. They were the best defensive and offensive team throughout the season. Vinicius, even though missing 2 months through injury, still managed to put up 15-plus goals and 5-plus assists in just over 20 starts. But it was in the Champions League where he really laid claim to being the best player in the world. Again, he was only able to play half the group stage game due to injury, but still managed 2 goals and 3 assists in the 3 games he played. Vinicius was fully available throughout the knockout stages though, starting with RB Leipzig. He scored the tie-deciding goal in the second leg to give Real Madrid the 2-1 aggregate advantage, setting up a clash with reigning champions Manchester City. In one of the most exciting games of the year, he assisted goals by Rodrigo and Federico Valverde as Real Madrid and Manchester City settled for a 3-3 draw at the Bernabeu, setting up an intense second leg. Despite not officially recording an assist, Vinicius had a huge part to play in Madrid's only goal at the Etihad. It was from his cross Rodrigo initially got his shot off before scoring the rebound. Extra time ended with both teams still tied 1-1, and penalties were needed to decide who would go on to the semifinals, with Real Madrid prevailing and setting up a matchup with Bayern Munich. The first leg against Bayern had Vinicius' fingerprints all over it, scoring 2 goals and constantly being a thorn in the side of the Bayern defense, particularly Kim Min-jae. In the return fixture, he was again at his best. This time, he had a new victim, Joshua Kimmich. Kimmich still probably has nightmares of that night because Vinicius had him on toast. It seemed like every time they matched up, Vinicius would skip past him like he wasn't there, absolutely running him ragged. Although he did not have any goals or assists that game, It was from his shot that Manuel Neuer made the error to allow Joselu to tap in, leading to Madrid completing the comeback and advancing to the final. With Real Madrid finding themselves in another Champions League finals, Vinicius has the opportunity to cement himself as the best player with another stellar performance on the grandest stage in club football. And with that, we come to an end. Until next time,